What's going on, guys? It's Cal here from Buffalo Sports Center. Today we are going to be discussing the big Kevyn Adams news, which is nothing, because Kevyn Adams has yet to do any impactful moves for the Sabres on his entire tenure as the general manager. So I hate to beat the dead horse, but Kevyn Adams is one of those people around the league that just has to go if the Sabres want to improve. Let's take a look at some of his moves this year. We look at the offseason, and I got to say, out of all the years Kevyn Adams has been GM, this is probably the most impactful he's made, the moves on the NHL roster. And that's an absolute joke, because once I tell you what moves he's made, it's really nothing. But first thing he did, let's talk about the McLeod trade. Ryan McLeod's a stud. I mean, I like Ryan McLeod. He's really good on faceoffs. He's got wheels. He traded away his best prospect, or, I wouldn't say most talented prospect, but the prospect that was worth the most in Matthew Savoy. And he also got Ty Tullio in that deal as well, who is probably a career AHLer, but he's helping the Amherst out this year. It is what it is. So McLeod, okay, it was an overpay, I would say, but you needed to improve your face-off percentage from last year, and they have done that. So you got to give credit to Kevyn Adams on that move. We moved to the Jason Zucker signing, and that was a big win for the Sabres. I think a lot of people classified that signing as an overpay, but like I've said many times on this channel, if you're the general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, a team about to hit 14 years of no playoffs, you absolutely have to overpay for these guys. Nobody's going to come here willingly, and unless their name's Eric Johnson, and we saw how that went. But it's one of those things where Kevyn Adams, he overpaid, which I was screaming at the top of my lungs. You have to overpay for someone. He did, and guess what? Jason Zucker is probably your third, fourth best offensive player this year. So you got to do something like that. So two good moves so far, I would say, from Kevyn Adams. But then the team started to struggle out of the gate. Remember, new coach Lindy Ruff comes in. They have to go to Germany and Czechia to start the season. And, the team got off to a very slow start. Then they started, finding their groove. And then they went on that big losing streak. And that's where Kevyn Adams has failed this organization in the past, and he failed again, right? This team goes in losing streaks consistently the last 5 years, and that one losing streak ruins the whole season, and they did nothing to change anything, right? A few call-ups here or there, but that is when the team needed a shakeup, and he did not do a shakeup. So I sit here again, and you could play this video last season, the season before, and the season before that. Why the Sabres didn't make the playoffs? It's because their general manager has sat on his hands for way too long, right? You have to be making some sort of move. We see teams around the league, right? Detroit makes a coaching change. They make some moves. All of a sudden, they're on this big win streak. The Rangers, they go out, get JT Miller. They know they're in a rough spot. They need to start getting some wins. You look at all these other teams, and they do stuff. They actually try to improve their roster. And what the Sabres do is they sit back and say, oh, we believe in the guys we have here, and you get the same result every single year. So it's one, you look at the situation, and you really have no answers other than to change the front office again, because if you're not going to be able to make moves, and there's rumors that Kevyn Adams is, not respected among other GMs. If that's the case, he's got to go. And if it stems from a higher up, like Terry Pegula maybe not letting him make these moves, then Terry Pegula's got to go. And I hate to say that, because Pegula's done a great job with the Bills, and he's, saved the Bills, kept them in Buffalo and all that. But whoever's not letting the Sabres make moves, or if it's just the ineptness of our front office, they got to go, because the NHL is a league where people rotate all the times, right? You have your big stars like Crosby, Ovechkin. They're staying, they'll probably be on their teams for life, right? Crosby with the Penguins, Ovi for the Capitals, but star players move around, right? It's becoming more and more like the NBA, where these star players, they don't stick around where they're drafted. They don't stick around where they've been in the past. They're moving around. Coaches, same thing. I mean, you look at coaches, and it was crazy to see Don Granato was like the sixth most tenured head coach before he got fired with the Sabres. It seems like we just got him. So you have to look at situations like that, and the league changes, and the Sabres have remained the same, and that's why they just cannot make the playoffs. Again, I'm recording this, and the Sabres are on a 4-game win streak. They got one more game to go before the Four Nations break, and that's when the trade window kind of closes for a little bit, and then it opens back up for a little bit before the deadline. But Kevyn Adams, there's no real reason to make a move right now unless you can really scam a team before the deadline that's desperate. But at the same time, the fact you haven't made a move up to this point is fireable at that. And I sit here and it's almost like, again, like I said, it's just repeating the same thing season after season after season after season. What is going on with this front office? You have to change the core up a little bit if they're not going to win. And I'll bring up that Tage Thompson hit again. And then you have Dennis Gilbert do the PR stunt fight, in the beginning of the next game. Look, I'm okay with that. I love Dennis Gilbert, but it was kind of embarrassing to watch because everyone knew something was coming with that, and they had a meeting. But the fact that you allow your star player to get elbowed in the head and there's no response on the ice, that's a failure. And you can say you're going to change. You could say things are going to change, but if this core doesn't know that by now, this is the NHL, right? This isn't club hockey. This isn't a bar league. This is the NHL. Any player on your team gets elbowed in the head, there should be immediate brawl on the ice, and there wasn't. So, man, this team is sickening to watch, and I know they're winning right now, and the players can say that all they want, but at the end of the day, I don't care if you're on a 4-game winning streak. You're dead last in the Eastern Conference right now, and you have no response to when your players get hit and hit dirty on the ice. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's the same video over and over again, and there's really just been no change. And should there be change? Should Kevyn Adams go? Again, I love Kevyn Adams as a person. I think he's one of the nicest guys in hockey. And same thing goes for Terry Pegula, right? A very nice guy. But man, when it comes to getting the NHL team to the playoffs, they've just failed miserably over and over again. Thank you guys for watching this video, and peace out.